Alright, so in this video we're actually going to be removing the glove box. It's actually not that difficult to do. Probably take about 5 minutes, and I'll go through each and every step to be able to get this glove box out. If yours is faulty, needs to be replaced or whatever, you should be able to do this rather easily. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your passenger seat all the way back as far as it'll go. So push it all the way back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the fuse panel off, or fuse cover, and that's pretty easy to get off. There, simple as that. So now that's off, and what that's going to allow us to get access to is this plate right here. Basically, you just take the whole thing and you just kind of pull down on it, and that's it. So this is a trim piece, comes off really easy. The next thing that we need to do is we need to get this door out of the way. So basically just open your compartment door, and this right here is the stop that prevents the door from basically just falling when you open it. And what you do is you've got two, I'll try to get a side shot here, you've got two separators here, and it looks like, let's see if I get focused in, one of them is independent of the other. And basically what you do is you lift your door up slightly, you push in with your thumb away from you, and then that will allow the door to fall. You can see how it's held in there. This is the stop for it. This basically prevents it from falling down, and then you've got your locking right here, which controls how fast the actual glove compartment, as it's sometimes called, falls. You got this little gear here. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull this trim piece here back slightly. You don't need to bring it all the way out. You just need to be able to get access to remove this side trim panel here. So the easiest way, I've done videos of this before, but the easiest way is to just grab it from the corner down here like this and just pull out. You can see how easy that comes out. Now be aware, this piece right here is probably going to pop out on you, but I'm not bringing it out all the way. So just enough to be able to basically unlatch it from the inside here. And then what you do, you take this bottom portion here and you just pull out on it. Let's see if I can do this as carefully as possible. There we go. Alright, but once you've got this panel off, just be careful getting it off. Mine just kind of popped off. Alright, so the screws that we're trying to get to are these 4 Phillips head screws. So we're going to get to these 4 Phillips screws here, and we should start lowering this unit. Okay, so I'm down to 1 screw here, right there, and I want to make sure that I make it clear you're going to want to hold this while you're getting the last screw out. The reason is because it's going to put a lot of strain on that 1 screw, and it might actually crack this plastic, because as you're unscrewing the last one, all of the weight from the compartment is going to start wanting to come down. So just make sure that you're holding it with one hand and unscrewing it with the other. You know, I've just got my arm basically right here at this point, so that it all doesn't just fall at once, and it doesn't put too much strain on that 1 screw and possibly crack this. Okay, so with the compartment now completely disconnected by screws, what I've done is I've closed the door, and this is free hanging, so you don't want to just let this go. So now that the door is actually closed, I can actually maneuver this back and forth. You basically just take it and you slide it back and forth. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, until the whole thing comes out. And you might even be able to see back there the retaining, there's a set of wires back here, and the only thing that's holding it on right there are those retaining clips. Alright, so now all we have right here are these retaining pins right here that will come right off, or they should come off. But anyway, these retaining pins here just hold this harness in place, and all you do is you lift up on, I'm going to do this with 2 hands while I'm under there, but you just lift up on them and you bring them back, and they should release, and then you will have the glove box out, and you can replace it or work on it, whatever you need to do with it. Okay, so to get this glove box back in, I have already reconnected these clips here, but to get the glove box back in, you just basically do everything in the reverse order. And I'm going to need 2 hands to do this, because I'm going to need to hold the glove box at the same time that I'm actually screwing the 4 screws back in. But make sure you open your glove box again, and this is much easier to get to now, but you just make sure the glove box is completely open so that you have access on the other side to the screws to remount the glove box. So you will need 2 hands for this, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Real quick, I wanted to show you after the glove box is open. To get it back in, you just do the exact same thing as getting it out. You just wiggle it back and forth until it's in place, and you kind of have to move it around a little bit. But once you get the this stopper here aligned on both sides, you'll see the screw holes will be lined up. You'll see it. You just got to fiddle with it until you get it lined up, and then you get your screws back in. All right, so I'm lined back up. I'm using my hand to hold it right now, otherwise it would just fall back out. But the holes are lined up. You might be able to see that in there. The holes are lined up. Might need a little bit of a shift to get it perfect, but just using one hand to hold it and another hand to screw the screws in. Thread them by hand at first, and then go with your screwdriver the rest of the way. Make sure all 4 of them are in before you release your hand, so that you don't put any more stress on one than the other. Alright, so all 4 screws are back in place. With the glove box open, you just basically line the holes up. I'm going to have to do this with 2 hands. But just basically line it up and then just tap it in with a little bit of force, and it should lock right back into where it was before. Right, we're locked back in, so now we just take this, push it back together. Literally as easy as that. So that's back together. Now we can go ahead and get the side piece trim here back in. Alright, just as easy as it came out, make sure this hole is facing you or the right side, and you should be able to just snap it right back in place. Simple as that. Now you can actually close the glove compartment. Alright, works just fine. Fuse panel, very easy, goes right back in where it came from. Once I've got it lined up, that is. Alright, fuse panel's back in. Alright, so the glove box is back in, and it is fully functional. Opens just fine. Does the slow open deal. So yeah, everything's back together on the glove compartment or glove box or dash box, IP panel storage. There's a couple of different names for it, but we'll just call it glove box because that's what they used to call it back in the day. So it is installed, and if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Take care, guys.